गुरुर्ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुर्देवो महेश्वरः गुरु साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः। ओम सदाशिवसमारंभां शंकराचार्यमध्यमाम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्ताम् वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम्। In our last session, we had a very basic introduction about Veda and the divisions of Veda, etc. Today, I think we can enter into the Shiva Sankalpa Sukta. While discussing the inner meanings of those mantras, naturally discussions on Veda and other matters connected with it will come. So that will be our approach. And if anything is to be cleared, without any hesitation, you can ask. And we can discuss that also. Now, we are directly entering into Shiva Sankalpa Sukta. In the Samhita portion, there are many suktams. Thousands of suktams are there. Some suktams have only one mantra and some many. Here, the Shiva Sankalpa Suktam, there are many versions. And the most famous version which we are studying, there are six mantras within that. So this sukta, there are 6 mantras. And of course, there are some other versions, but there is only one mantra. So different versions are there. In the Madhyandina Shakha, there are 6 mantras. And for this, the great commentators like Mahidhara, Uvada, and Sayana wrote commentaries. They have taken this version, having 6 mantras. All the 6 mantras are in the Trishtup Vritta, Chandas. The Chandas is Trishtup. And Mahidhara says, Rishi of the Sukta is Aditya Yajnavalkya. So the name of the Rishi is Aditya Yajnavalkya. It was Yajnavalkya who discovered these mantras, or in other words, it was to Aditya Yajnavalkya these mantras were revealed. It is well known that the whole of Shukla Yajurveda was revealed to Yajnavalkya. And Yajnavalkya got the Yajurveda from Surya Bhagavan, Aditya Bhagavan. So as a blessing from Aditya, Yajnavalkya got this. And here the six mantras were revealed to Aditya Yajnavalkya. So Rishi is Aditya Yajnavalkya. Chandaha is Trishtup. And who is the Devata? Devata is Manaha. Mind is the Devata. For this Sukta, Devata is the mind. So considering the Rishi, Chandas and Devata, we can enter into the mantras. Those who know the traditional style of Vedic chanting, their chanting is that much beautiful, much attractive. So those who know Vedic chanting in the traditional way, they can sing, but I cannot do that. I cannot chant in the traditional way because I do not know. Many years back, that is even before my sannyasa, I tried to study, but I couldn't. I failed. I cannot. So those who can, they can sing or chant in the traditional way. It will be that much attractive to hear the traditional chanting. And of course, going away from the tradition, this can be sung beautifully. Those who know singing, those who can sing, they can sing this beautifully. That also I cannot do. So we can read these mantras and enter into a discussion. See, the first mantra is Yajjagrato Dura Mudaiti Daivam Tadu Suptasya Tathaiva Yeti Durangamam Jyotisham Jyotirekam Tanme Mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. We can read once more. Yajjagrato Dura Mudaiti Daivam Tadu Suptasya Tathaiva Yeti Durangamam Jyotisham Jyotirekam Tanme Mana Shiva Sankalpamastu. First, we can learn how to break the words here. Yad Jagrataha Duram Udaiti Daivam Tad U suptasya tatha eva eti durangamam ज्योतिषाम ज्योतिहि एकम तद में मनः शिव संकल्पम अस्तु. So this is the Padacheda. The experts in the Patapadha will sing the mantra or will chant the mantra very beautifully, breaking each and every pada. So here we are breaking the padas, like instead of a jagrataha, we will break yad plus jagrataha. So in that style they will sing, the Padapadha experts. What this mantra says, here what the Rishi praises, Me manaha Shiva sankalpamastu. This is the prayer. Or this is an inner thought of the Rishi. So this can be taken either as a prayer or as an inner thought. And that is, Me manaha Shiva sankalpam astu. Me manaha, my mind. My mind. Me, my. Manaha, mind. Shiva sankalpam. Shiva sankalpa means with auspicious thoughts. Astu, let it be. Astu means let it be. So the meaning is, let my mind be with auspicious thoughts, filled with auspicious thoughts. This is the prayer. We can study in detail, but before that, we can see the meaning of all the words used here. One who is in the waking state is Jagran. So Jagrataha means for him who is in the waking state. That is the meaning of Jagrataha. That is the Shashti Vibhakti of Jagran. Or it can be the Panchami Vibhakti also. Then we can coin other words more easily if we are taking in Panchami, but we are taking this as a Shashti. Why? Because there is a Suptasya followed here. Suptasya, that is in Shashti. So Jagrataha can be taken both as the fifth case and sixth case. But Suptasya is the sixth case. So here also we have to take this as the sixth case. Then the meaning will be for him who is in the waking state. So one who is in his waking state, Jagrataha, Yad means what? Duram Udayiti. Duram. Distant place. Udayiti means goes. Eti means goes. Udayiti, go high, go far. Going away from one place. Not going near and Udgachati, Udayiti. That is going far away from somewhere. So, Yad Jagrataha Duram Udayiti. What is going away from a man who is in his waking state? The meaning is not full there. So we have to see the meaning of the next sentence also. What is that? Tad u, that. Avyaya u is used there to differentiate. Tad u, that. Suptasya. Suptaha is one who is sleeping. One who is sleeping. That is suptaha. Suptasya means for one or of one who is sleeping. Tatha eva. Tatha eva means in the same manner. Tatha eva, in the same way or in the same manner. Eti means going. Here we can take as goes. The real meaning of, verbal meaning of eti is going. But here we cannot take so, and therefore we can take as goes. Goes. So, here the question is, from one who is in the waking state, who is going out or what is going out? I am sitting here and I am talking to you. And you are sitting at your own place and you are hearing. So there is a communication between us. How this is happening? Because my Vak Shakti, the power of speech, it is manifesting out. And your Shravana Shakti, the power of hearing, that is working. And because of this correlated action of these two indriyas, you are hearing what I am saying, what I am speaking from here. So in this communion, along with these senses or organs of action, even before that action, my mind is going. My mind is flowing out. Now I am sitting here. I am in the waking state. And I am speaking. And at the same time, I am giving a commentary on this Shiva Sankalpa Suktam. I am speaking. And at the same time, I am looking into the screen in front of me. There is a smartphone there. And on that smartphone screen, I am seeing my own image. And as a madman, I am speaking to myself now because I am not seeing you. I'm not using a computer here. So I'm seeing myself. And I'm talking to my own image. Commenting on Vedanta is a crazy thing because Vedanta is teaching something above the realm of words. And we are trying to teach using words. That is utter madness. So knowingly we are doing that. So the same thing I am doing here, looking at the image of this body, I am speaking, I am talking. And at the same time, I am thinking many things. Here, electric supply has gone. So when it will come, I am thinking. And in the hall there, japa is going on. Continuously, we are doing japa here from March 24th itself. Daily 12 hours continuous Namah Shivaya japa, Om Namah Shivaya is going on. So it is happening there. And I'm thinking, who will come next? Who will sit next? And many other thoughts are there. So this ward is going to be declared as a containment zone. So what will be the procedures? That I am thinking. So many thoughts are there. So how these are happening? Because of the incessant working of my own mind. So when I am thinking about this ward of this panchayat, I am going all around. And the faces of those who are having this COVID positive, their faces are coming. So I am going to them. I am mixing with them. Not physically, but mentally. So even when I am sitting here, my mind is going out. Within a short span of time, I can go to the other side of the earth. For example, to Canada, I can go. Sitting here. Or to America, I can go. To Australia, I can go. And all the places I have seen there, I can visualize within. I can visit there again and again, sitting here. So it's the whole world where I had traveled. I can go sitting here. And with the help of photographs, pictures, and pieces of writings of great writers, I can visualize many places and many things of the world within me. And sitting here, I can go there. What type of that imagination power is there within? So I can go. I can have the experiences. So Who is going out? The mind is going out. Mind is running. When I am in the waking state, I am sitting here, and at the same time, I am wandering here and there. That means the mind is going out. The mind is wandering here and there. So, yad jagrataha dura mudaiti means the mind or that mind which is going out, duram udaiti, far away. The mind is going to places, things which are far away. It is happening. So who is going there? Going out. Tatha eva, in the same way, suptasya. Suptaha is one who is sleeping. So when I am sleeping, this fellow, the mind, in the same way, he's going far away. I am seeing my friends. I am seeing my enemies. I can go to different places. Actually, I am traveling more than in the waking state. Because I can imagine and make many places, many things within. And I can visualize. I can experience. I have seen many birds in the waking state, and of course in the dream state also. And I have seen elephants both in the waking and dream state. And in the dream state, I can make many elephants with wings. They will fly. Flying elephants. And I can see them, I can experience them. And in the same way, I can join the sceneries of one place with another place and visualize the beauty of Himalaya and the beauty of some other oceans. I can bring both together and have that great sight in my dream state. So I am traveling out more in the dream state than in the waking state. But we can say there also I am going out. Because when I am seeing one thing or I am experiencing one thing, I am there in that. I am with that. One day, one mother called me and asked, Swamiji, where are you? I replied, within you. I am within you. Why? Because when she is calling, when she is taking the phone, the mobile phone, and dialing, I am within her. So I am within her. No, Swami, I am asking, where are you? Again, I repeated the same thing. I am within you. Because when we are experiencing something or when we are thinking about something, we are with that. That is the power of the mind. It can go everywhere. It can reach everywhere. So both in the waking state and in the dream state, the mind is traveling. It is flying. The speed of the mind is much higher than anything else. Whether it be sound or light or tachyons, whatever it is. So here the Rishi says that which is traveling far away from a person who is in the waking state, and that which is traveling far away from a person who is in his dream state, that mind, tad manaha. And what are the qualities of that mind? Qualities of that mind is durangamam. 1. 2. Jyotisham jyotihi. And 3. Ekam. That mind, tad manaha. Whose mind? My mind. Me manaha. My mind. Durangamam. Durangamam means that which is traveling far. Which can travel to far and off places. That is Durangamam. Which is in the habit of traveling to far and off places. That is Durangamam. And Jyotisham Jyotihi. Jyotihi is light or effulgence. So Jyotisham means of the lights or of the effulgent things, of the luminous things. We can translate it as sources of light. So Jyotisham Jyotihi means the light of the lights. Light of the lights. Or what is giving light to other luminous things. What is giving light to the sources of light? What is that? That is the mind. Because we cannot take it to mean Atma here, because Devata is the mind. So our senses, all the 5 senses of knowledge, and our organs of action, they are also 5. So 5 plus 5, 10. So all these indriyas, all these senses are working under the mind. And the mind is making them work. The mind is making them work. Because of the mind, they are working. If the mind is not working properly, of course they will work, but they will not work in the proper order. So they are controlled by the mind. They are working under the mind. A type of coherent activity is there because of mind. I am when I am seeing something like a cinema, my eyes are giving that vision, and my ears are giving or offering that sound. And because of the mind, I am connecting, I am getting the connection. And I am understanding that man is speaking or that woman is speaking. And that is because of the mind. It is a uniting or controlling faculty. And therefore we can say, because of the mind we are hearing. So it is giving power to the ears. It is giving power to the eyes. In the same way it is giving power to the whole of indriyas. So from one standpoint it is Jyotisham Jyotihi. It is the light of other lights. And it is Ekam. It is one. It is one. It is Ekam. Senses are many. Please mute your phone. Otherwise it will be a disturbance to the whole class. So it is one. Even though the senses are many, the controlling faculty is one. That one mind, which is of the habit of going here and there, durangamam, and which is giving light to all other senses, Jyotisham Jyotihi, that mind, Shiva Sankalpamastu, Tanme Manaha, that mind, let it be filled with auspicious thoughts. Let it have auspicious thoughts. So this is the prayer. See, what we are thinking, that is the mind, or that is the nature of the mind. That is the form of the mind. And how our mind is, so will be our individuality or our very being itself. So what our thoughts are within, so will be our individuality. Yoya Shraddha sa eva saha. What one's thought is, so he will be. So he will be. That a person is the product of his own thoughts. When our thoughts are auspicious, our very being will be Shiva. If our very being is Shivam, all our activities, all our words, all our deeds, everything will be auspicious. If some dirts are there within, some scars in the mind, then all our activities, all our deeds, all our thoughts, everything connected with us will have that dirt. There is no doubt in that. And that is why it is said, Yoya Shraddha Sayevasa. What is the Shraddha of one man? So will be. So he will be. That means that will be his nature. So we are what our thoughts are. We are what our thoughts are. There is no doubt in that. So making our own thoughts pure and auspicious. That is our duty. That is the task we have to do. Making our own thoughts pure and auspicious. So it is prayed here. Let my mind be pure and auspicious. Which mind? That mind which is moving to far and off places. From one who is in the waking state and who is in the dream state. That mind, which is Durangamam, which is of the habit of going to far and off places, and Jyotisham Jyotihi, which is giving effulgence to all other senses, and which is one in nature. That mind, let it be pure and auspicious. That is the direct meaning of this sloka, this is mantra. This is the meaning given by great scholars like Uvadacharya and Mahidharacharya. And as this is a part of Veda, and we need not follow the rules of Panini strictly. If we are studying some piece of writings in the Laukika, that is worldly language, we have to observe fully and strictly the rules of Panini. But when it is Chandas, we need not follow the rules given by Panini that much strictly. So, Astu, let it be, can be taken as Astu, Bhavayatu, let it make. So if we are taking the meaning so, that is, instead of taking the meaning of Astu, let it be as Bhavayatu, let it make, we can take some more higher meaning. And what is that higher meaning? See, Yad Manaha Jagrataha Duramudaidi. Yad Jagrataha Duramudaidi. Yad, that which is running or traveling to far and off places from one who is in the waking state, and that which is eiti, going out from a man who is in the dream state. That, what is that? That is not mind. That which is of the nature of Durangamam, Jyotisham Jyotihi, and Ekam, that. What is that? That is the self, not the mind. That is the Atma. Because there is in the Upanishad, that in the Shukla Yajurvediya Upanishad itself, it is said, Anyan Atyeti. Such a mantra is there in the Ishavasya Upanishad. That is the 40th chapter of Shukla Yajurveda. Anyan Atyeti. And there is another piece of mantra, Purvamarshad. Purvamarshad. Purvamarshad means reached earlier. Once more, Purvamarshad, reached earlier. And the meaning of the other mantra is Anyan Atyeti. Atyeti means overcoming or overriding. Anyan, the others. So the meaning of that piece of mantra is when our senses are traveling to cognize things, the self is traveling more speedily. And before the senses reach their destination, the self is already there. So the meaning of Durangamam will be the self, Atma. The question may come, Atma is stationary, Atma is not traveling. Yes, that is true from the absolute standpoint. But from the transactional viewpoint, the Chidabhasa, that is the Jivatma. The Jivatma is traveling. Even though it is not traveling, we are presuming so. We are assuming. Because we are cognizing things which are inert, and to have that cognition, the light of Atma, the light of the self must be there. Without that, how the cognition will happen? So Purvamarshad, the Atma has reached even before that. Even before what? Even before the arrival of the senses. Purvamarshad. So the Atma is Durangamam. That is, Chidabhasa is Durangamam. And it is the Jyotisham Jyoti. Even the mind is shining because of the self. The intellect is working because of the self. So the Atma is making all other adjuncts like the mind, the buddhi, the senses, the organs of action, everything. Atma is making them work. Tasya bhasa sarvamidam vibhati. Because of the light of that, everything else are working. Or it gives existences to different entities. That absolute existence is giving existences to different entities. So it is a Jyotisham Jyotihi, and it is Ekam. Atma is Ekam, Ekameva. So that Atma, that self, that Shiva Sankalpamastu, Shiva Sankalpam Bhavayatu, let it make my mind auspicious. So if we are taking the meaning like this, it will be a prayer to the self. Instead of to the mind, it will be the prayer to the self. In that way also we can take the meaning. But remember, great commentators like Uvada and Mahidhara, they've taken this as to mean the mind, and without any doubt they have declared The devata of this mantra is Manaha, Mano Devatyaha. So Manas is the devata. So the first meaning we have to have is according to that version. That is, the mind is the devata here. So what we are praying? We are praying, let that mind be auspicious. Let it be filled with auspicious thoughts. Let my mind be pure and auspicious. Which mind? Which is traveling to far off places when I am in the waking state and when I am in the dream state. That mind, let it be pure. Let it be auspicious. Means, let it be filled with auspicious thoughts.
I've negotiated for 9 years.
What the thoughts are there in the mind, so will be our very individuality. So keeping the mind pure and auspicious is the basic duty. That is the basic duty. All our life and the effects, the result, everything will be according to the purity of our mind. So, the basic duty of a sadhaka is to keep one's own mind pure and auspicious. And it is prayed for here. So the meaning of this mantra is Yad Jagrataha Dura Mutaidi Daivam. Daivam is that which is shining and that which is giving light to others. That is Dyotanat Devaha. Deepanat Devaha. That means that which is shining and that which is giving light to others. That is Daivam. So the mind is giving light to other senses, all others. So that mind, which is giving light to senses of knowledge and organs of action, and that which is going out to far and off places from one who is in the waking state, and so in the same way from a man who is in the dream state, that mind which is in the habit of going here and there, durangamam, and which is giving light to others, jyotisham jyotihi, and that one mind, my mind, be pure and auspicious. That is the main meaning. The other meaning is, let the self Atma, which is durangamam, jyotisham jyotihi, and ekam, let that Atma make my mind pure and auspicious. So these are the meanings of the first mantra. And after studying this, we can enter into the second mantra. So this is the first mantra. Yajagrato dura mudaiti daivam tadu suptasya tathaiva yeti durangamam jyotisham jyotirekam tanme mana shiva sankalpamastu. So here Aditya Yajnavalkya is the Rishi, Trishtup is the Chandas, and Manaha is the Devata. So we can go to the second mantra in our next session. So whatever questions you want to ask, you can ask.
Namaste Swamiji. Today's first question is Dr. Kamalaji from last week's class. Kamalaji, please unmute and ask.
Pranam Swamiji.
Namaste.
Last class, actually, I asked a question about sages and the Manasaputra mentioned by Krishna in the 9th chapter. So Swamiji explained half. Then he said, Swamiji said, we'll explain it more in this next class. So how do we take it that the creation of the sages and the Manasaputras?
Madbhava manasa jataha yesham loka ima prajaha. That is, Maharshaya Saptapurve Chattwaro Manavastatha Madbhavaha Manasaha Jataha Yesham Loka Ima Prajaha. So says Bhagavan in the Bhagavad Gita. See, we are not taking creation and dissolution as the beginning or end. Then how we are taking them? These are parts of a cycle. The beginning of each and every kalpa, all these manifestations are coming out, and in the end, they will be dissolved. So from a state of dissolution, they are manifesting again and again, and from a state of manifestation, they are dissolving again and again. So this is without a beginning, without an end. This is moving. This is our concept. So, in each and every kalpa, the phenomenon which we are calling creation is happening. So, what are being manifested? Let me repeat once more. What are being manifested? In the beginning of that particular cycle are nothing but those which were dissolved in the past cycle. So this is repeating. So coming out from the inner samskaras, that is being explained as manasaha, manasa srishtihi. That is manasa srishti. Because in the mind means the collective mind, not the individual mind. Because Ishvara is samashti abhimani. We are having our individualistic ego, whereas Ishvara is having that pluralistic ego. Individualistic ego is not there. Because that ego is the whole universe, the whole phenomenal world. So from that mind, from the causal state, all these manifestations are coming out, and they are considered as the Manasa Putras. In some places of our scriptures, we will see as Manasaputra of Brahma. And basically, there is no difference between Brahma, Vishnu, and Maheshwara. So here Bhagavan is saying, all the Saptarshis and the Manus, all are manifesting from my own mind. That means, from the causal state, they are being manifested in the or into the grosser place. So this is happening. And from them, that is from the Manasa Srishti, all other prajas came into existence. Prajas means beings. All other beings came into existence from them. That means, from the Manasa Srishti, all other Srishtis are coming. First Srishti is Manasa Srishti. And Manasa Srishti is nothing but, it is the manifestation of those samskaras, inscriptions, which are in the causal plane. So this is the inner meaning of that. Maharshaya Saptapurve Chatvaro Manavastatha Madbhavaha. Madbhavaha. They are having the same bhava of me, my own bhavas. Because Ishvara is in the causal form. We are not speaking about the absolute principle, the Paramatma, we are talking about Ishvara. So in the Ishvara, everything is in the causal plane or causal level. So these are Madbhavaha. And from that causal plane, they have manifested. They came. And Yesham Loka Ima Prajaha. Imaha Prajaha Sarvaha. All the beings in this universe are their own products or progenies. So that is the meaning. But when we are going to Puranas, all this will be explained with the help of many stories and how they came from Brahma, etc. will be explained there. So when we are analyzing this aspect from a logical point of view, this is the answer, or this is the explanation. Namaste.
One more clarification, Swamiji. Then Ishvara will also have the samskara?
Definitely.
Then
there is no doubt in that. Because see, the difference of Jiva and Ishvara is Samashtirisha Sarvesham Swatma Tadatmya Vedanat Tad Abhava Tatonyetu Kathyande Veshti Samjnaya. So says Vidyaranya Swamiji in his Panchadashi. So Ishvara is having that ego of the Samashti. And Jiva is having the ego of the Veshti. So I am limited to this. My ego is limited to this body. Whereas the ego of Ishvara is that of the whole phenomenal existence. And what is above that? That is the absolute principle which we will call, or which we are calling, Atman or Brahman. That is above the Ishvara concept. And in some places of our Shastras, the term Ishvara is used to denote the Brahman. Some places. There the term Ishvara will be used to show or describe Brahman itself. But we have to differentiate these two words, Ishvara and Brahman. Ishvara is the ultimate principle which is controlling the whole universe. That controlling aspect is there. So within that controlling aspect, there are three. That is manifestation, then sustaining, then dissolving. So manifesting, sustaining, and dissolving. The three aspects are there in the Ishvara concept. And when we are not at all considering the Maya, that is when we are taking the concept of Paramatma, there are not these three aspects. There is no Srishti, there is no Sthiti, there is no Samhara. So when we are taking Ishvara, these samskaras are there. But it won't bind Ishvara. Why? Because Ishvara's ego is not limited. It is not limited. And therefore, it won't bind Ishvara. So this is the difference between Ishvara and Jiva. There are many other differences, but this is the basic difference we have to think about. And that is why in the Harinama Kirtana, Akhilam Jnanam Nalavu Tonename. Actually, what we want is fullest cessation of our ego. But from another angle, the great seer is saying, let that knowledge be dawned within me, with the help of which I will realize the whole is myself. There, the ego is there. But it is not limited to one body or two bodies or to one family or one country, one nationality. No. It is the unlimited ego.
The same Hiranyagarbha is taken, we can take it as the Manasaputras.
No. See, Hiranyagarbha is not the Manasaputra. Hiranyagarbha is the stage from which all Hiranyagarbha we can take as the Manasa, not Manasaputra, as the Manasa. And from that, the Virat came into existence. It is the subtle form. In the Ishvara, it is in the causal form. The same Ishvara in the subtle level is Hiranyagarbha, and the same Ishvara in the gross level is the Virat. I think it is clear. We have to think more and more.
Namaste Swamiji. Next question is from Rajani ji.
Namaste Swamiji.
Namaste.
My question is regarding what you explained today about Chidabhasam. You said Chidabhasam travels and Atma doesn't. Could you explain a little bit more about Chidabhasam? And this is the same as Chitta Chaya also that we read about, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So could you please explain a little more? Thank you.
See, Chidabhasa is a term used in Vedanta Shastras, especially Prakaranas, to explain how Jiva is working. So it is a term used as a synonym to Jiva, Jivatma. And what is the meaning of Chidabhasa? Abhasa is a reflection. Abhasa is reflection. So Chidabhasa is the reflection of the Chit. Reflection of the Chit. Chit is knowledge absolute, or the luminous self. See, we cannot translate all the Samskrita shabdas into any other languages. So we must use the Samskrita terms as they are. But to have an idea, we must try to develop the concept, and that we are doing here. Actually, there is no translation for Chidabhasa. But we have to understand like this. Chidabhasa is the reflection of the Chit. Chit is knowledge absolute. And Chidabhasa is the reflection. Reflection, where it is staying? Reflection in the Chittam. So, the reflection of the Chit in the Chittam is Chidabhasa. See, Maya is the innate power which cannot be differentiated from Brahman. So it cannot be differentiated from the Brahman. And it is the innate power, just like fire and its heat. We cannot differentiate. And this Maya has that ability to make reflections of that Brahman. Being its power, it can make many, many reflections. And reflection in the pure Sattvic Maya, which we call Vidya, is Ishvara. And Avidya is Jiva. So there are many levels of manifestations, and Chitta is there. So in the Chitta, which is a part of a subtle body, the reflection of this Chit comes, and this is called Chidabhasa. Another name is Vijnanatma. Vijnanatma. Vijnanatma is the self having Vijnana, having the quality of Vijnana is Vijnanatma. That also is the Chidabhasa. So, when we are speaking about Durangamam, actually the Atma is not at all moving, because it is the ultimate existence, it is the ultimate knowledge, it is the ultimate bliss, and being one without a second, it cannot travel. It cannot travel. But when we are analyzing the process of or the phenomenon of cognition, how we are cognizing, then we are saying, if we are cognizing things which are inert, there must be some light which is giving light to that object. And because of that light, our senses, which are just instruments by themselves, they are moving, They are cognizing. And who is giving that light to senses? Who is giving light to the mind? That is the self. That is the Atma. But Atma cannot travel. So we are saying the Chidabhasa, that is the Jivatma, that is the Vijnanatma. It is giving that light. So Upanishad says, Tadhavato jnanatyeti tishtad. Tadhavato jnanatyeti. It is overriding, it is overtaking others. Others means the senses. And there is another piece of mantra, Purva Marshad. Purva Marshad. Reached even before. And these two words, one, Purva Marshad, the other, Anyanatyedi, these are connected with the self in the form of Chidabhasa, not in the absolute sense. Because in the absolute sense, we cannot say it is moving or it is reaching somewhere, it is going from somewhere. No, we cannot say. That is why. I think it is clear.
So when somebody dies and when we say that the Jivatma is moving to another body, it is the Chitta that is moving?
No, also Chitta is there. Chitta is there. Mind is there. Buddhi is there. Ahankara is there. And 5 senses of cognition are there. 5 organs of action are there. That means the subtle body with all the inscriptions of karma, that is samskara, that is moving from one to another. When somebody is dying, the gross body is dying. Death happens to the gross body. And Sukshma Sharira, with all the samskaras inscribed therein, will have to find out another gross body for continuing its activity. So, Chittam is going along with all other parts of, all other elements of the subtle body. And of course, when we say Chitta, the samskara is there. The collected samskara is there. With that it is moving. Now it is the time for our session.
Yeah.
So today we can conclude. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah Sarve Santu Niramayah Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhaveta. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.